Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order at 5 p.m. Before we get started, I want to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe Cree, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. We don't have any of that. Discuss, and we don't have that. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Be it resolved that council accepts the regular council meeting agenda as presented. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Sobring. Be it resolved that council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting, and that's the regular council meeting from May 27th, 2024. Questions or comments regarding that? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be resolved that council accepts as information the delegation from Fire Chief Cam Abry. Your timing is impeccable as always. Well, last meeting, we needed them all and more. But the floor is yours, Fire Chief Abry.
Thank you. So there was a report prepared May 13th that came to council, and I just updated some stats off to the side, but basically it was a report for the first 4 months. And you can see that our call volume was down, 65 this year compared to 84 from the previous year. I did something a little bit different and compared the side-to-side stats or side-by-side so that council could see, where the drop is happening in our calls. Our false alarms stayed on par, our kitchen fires were on par, but all the other items went down. Then I added in the May statistics, and our false alarms actually went up. We're still down on calls. In 2023 to the end of May, we had 99 response, and this year we've had 85. But the false alarms have now overtaken last year's calls. Yeah, it's been a nice, peaceful, I don't want to say the Q word when it comes to emergency services, peaceful spring that our calls overall were down, not only the outdoor calls. There's a reason for some of our false alarms that were identified there, either due to humidity or construction dust. In the past, we've had some malicious false alarms. There haven't been too many of those this year. And we are trying to identify where those alarms are calling from or coming from and try to come up with some sort of pre-incident education for everybody so that we can cut down on those calls. Training-wise, we did host several departments from across the province, the furthest being from Thompson, to attend some training here in Dauphin through the Manitoba Emergency Services College in trying to create some more instructors within the department and beyond. And then we also had recertification in the intermediate first aid. We're continuing to work with Fort Garry fire trucks on the engine that was ordered in August of 23. We're hoping to see delivery in 25. And I just returned last night from the annual conference for the Manitoba Association of Fire Chiefs. So my term in the presidency is officially done as of Saturday afternoon, which has been an adventure. So the next 2 years are as the past president and filling in where needed, but that's 14 years of going through the cycle twice. I said it felt like I was in a washing machine some days and just spinning round and round, but it's been a great adventure. I open the floor to any questions anybody might have.
I just want to start by, again, commending you for that role, and now sort of moving into the great mentor chair and helping their executive now. But I think it's been tremendously beneficial for us when you are in those positions and traveling around and meeting other people and seeing best practices and then bringing much of that back. And I also, the amount of work that you've done because of those connections to bring things to us, training events and opportunities. So I'm assuming you're going to continue to be doing that. But it's just been wonderful to have you as the face representing the organization because it looks good for us. And it just, what you've done, how you've done it, very professional. And I think that's just, it shines very positively on us as a community. So I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to thank you for all of that extra time that goes into doing that. Council, anyone else have questions for the fire chief?
In your report, you talk about first aid training. So I know obviously all your members need to be trained.
Yes.
Do you do community first aid training, or how would one in the community access that training?
If we had more instructors, I'd say yes. At one point in time, we had 5 instructors on the department and we offered monthly courses. So 1 weekend a month was open to the public. I'm the only one right now. We did have 2 other instructors certified in recent months who have been assisting, but because they have their full-time careers, it's difficult for them to open it up to the public as well. There are a few private companies, and I think Dauphin Rec Services has also explored the option of bringing an instructor in or their own instructor. I've seen some advertisements through there. So you're welcome.
Randy, did you have a question or no, you just had a thumbs up?
Oh, I just had a, yeah, for camp, absolutely.
Okay.
And just on the first aid thing, I read a thing today, but I realized it's for 15 to 29-year-old Métis citizens.
Okay. Anyone else that's present? Dev, do you have anything for the fire chief? No, I didn't see your little yellow hand waving.
The
so
thumb.
I wanted to make sure. No, so thanks for the sort of the follow-up and the addendum to the report that you presented. And I know that you're back coming to the protective services meetings. We were talking that if you find them useful to be there for the whole time, for sure. But if there's better use of your time when we're not talking about specific fire and what you're involved in, I think that we can, I think Lisa and I, we've had that sort of brief discussion of, maybe there's an opportunity for you to come for the part, stay as long as you want, but if you don't feel like all afternoon.
I think bearing what other agencies might have to say, there might be some
Sure. Yeah.
sharing of information if it was something that was related that
As long
way.
as you're good with it, we're
Yeah.
good with having you there for sure.
Just a couple other little notes. So 2026, the MAFC is looking for a host community. So I did not put our name forward at this point in time because we've had it 3 times in the past 10 years, and we want to allow the opportunity for other communities to showcase. But if by September nobody comes forward, I'll be putting Dauphin forward again for the 2026, which also coincides with the 125th anniversary of Dauphin Fire Department. And maybe some other opportunities within the community. Our 1919 fire truck should be done the restoration by then. We should have raised enough money by that point in time. And if anybody's looking for 50-50 tickets from the Firefighters Association where the proceeds go towards that truck, they just came on sale. Yeah, and there's a couple of other options that we're exploring as well. One includes an employee assistance plan specifically for the firefighters, and something that we can do for them in the regard to mental wellness and some counseling that way. So there is something new that we discovered through my traveling and teaching from another department, somebody that's using that, and we're just exploring the options on that. So that information will be coming to council in the future.
Excellent. If there aren't any other questions, and if you don't have anything else, Cam, you can carry on. And again, thanks for coming and bringing us up to speed on what you're doing.
All right. Well, I will not be cutting my grass this evening. That's one thing I can see because it's raining. So,
Okay. Okay, thanks. So call then, all in favor to accept Cam's report? Yep. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, that motion is carried. Thank you. Next is the consent agenda. So we've got a couple of things to cover here. There is one outstanding water account that's added to taxes, and that's roll 0258700 in the amount of $53.66, where the previous tenant did not pay the final utility bill. And there's several outstanding receivable accounts that have been added to tax rolls, and they are roll 0048600 in the amount of $3,227.73 for property cleanup. Roll 0148300 in the amount of $2,254.48 for property cleanup. And roll 022570 $1,362.15, also for property cleanup. So that's a total of $6,844.36 that will be added to taxes. We have one proclamation today, and I'd like to call on Councillor Ray for that, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas this June 21st, National Indigenous Peoples Day, is the 28th anniversary of celebrating the heritage, diverse cultures, and valuable contributions of the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples to our country, province, and communities. And whereas National Indigenous Peoples Day is also an opportunity to come together to share the experience of Indigenous culture and traditional food, dance, storytelling, and games. And whereas collectively we recognize the courage of residential school survivors and their families and grieve the suffering and loss of Indigenous children found near the sites of Canada's residential schools. And whereas we believe that every child matters and that meaningful steps towards reconciliation in a spirit of respect, cooperation, and partnership are more important than ever before. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim June 21st, 2024 as National Indigenous Peoples Day.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. We have a couple of filing items of Community Futures Parkland newsletter from June, Prairie Mountain Health, their newsletter from June, and the Regional Connections Immigration Services in regards to the city grant for 2024. So those are the items on consent agenda. So moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Sobering, be resolved that all items listed in red under item 5, the consent agenda be approved and form part of these minutes. All in for question, Councillor Bellemare?
Just a quick question about those property cleanups. So those were not like grass, they were like maybe excess items on the property?
Yeah, there were, in terms of property standards, big cleanups like that.
Call for the question. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Bellemare, be resolved that we accept this information, the corporate report for today's meeting from the city manager, and that's a report for May. Charlotte, would you like to speak to any of the highlights in your report?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to talk about one thing, and that was a municipal emergency plan. And having in it something for a cyber attack. Cyber security really is not or has not been in our municipal emergency plan. However, our ICT manager attended a conference, and it was a conference specifically for IT with respect to municipalities. And one of the presentations was, does your emergency plan cover a cyber attack? So we did sit down, had a look at it, looked at what the sections were. And, you know, a lot of it is about communication with the public, how to deal with things internally. I don't know that we would ever open up an emergency operations center, because usually a cyber attack does not include anybody else except us, or we would not deal with it. But just wanted to let council know that we had that discussion, and it was a little one of those things that you don't think about, if I'm going to be honest. But it was great to have that discussion and to see what other municipalities and other experts in the field talk about at different conferences. So I've never been to an IT conference, and it was really interesting to see some of the things that our ICT manager brought back. But we will actually be taking a look at the plan and putting in a section, so at least it speaks to it. So that if in the future that happens, then we can at least have some sort of guidance on what to do with that.
Thank you. Any further questions for the city manager? All in favor of the resolution? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin and seconded by Councillor Sobering, be resolved that we accept as information the corporate report from the Deputy City Manager for the month of May. Lisa, is there anything in that report you'd like to highlight for us?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Boziak. I'd like to highlight a couple of items from my report. First, the Animal Services Officer request for proposals closed on May 31st, and we've reviewed the submissions, and I'll be presenting later this evening to Council on those submissions so we can determine a recommendation. So you can expect a decision on the Animal Services Officer position within the next week. I'd also like to say that Council approved as part of the 2024 financial plan a subsidized spay and neuter program where the city provides vouchers valued at 50% of the cost for licensed city cats and dogs to be spayed or neutered. So that would be up to $175 for female dogs, $125 for male dogs, up to $125 for female cats, and $75 for male cats. So a key factor in responsible pet ownership is to spay and neuter dogs and cats so we don't add to the problem that our shelters are facing with limited space and overworked volunteers. So please fix your pets. I'd also like to announce that we're happy to report that Robert Bob Dodds will be starting as our new bylaw enforcement officer on July 2nd. Bob is currently the public safety manager for the city of Thompson and brings a wealth of education and experience to the BEO position, and we are very much looking forward to welcoming Bob into our City of Dauphin team. And then last, I would like to again put in a plug for Radon. I've been continuing to work with Health Canada and the Canadian Association of Radon Scientists and Technologists to develop a plan of action to address the elevated levels of radon gas in Dauphin. We issued 200 radon test kits in the fall, and the results have been coming in, and that community report indicating the results for the community is soon to be released to the public. So stay tuned as we come up with a plan to help residents of Dauphin to mitigate elevated levels of radon in their homes. Thank you. That's all for tonight.
Any questions for the Deputy, Councillor Sobering?
Yeah, I think you missed the most important part is your son's graduation. I think I'm sure everyone will pile onto this, but like very, very well deserved. I know Liam is a hardworking young guy, and I think he received a bunch of scholarships through Rotary, and he's finally hitting the end of his big journey, 9 years of university, and finally getting his certification to be a medical doctor. So congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you, Councillor Sobering. Yes, proud mama over here.
Any other comments from anyone? Questions? Call for the question then. All in favor of the report? Anyone opposed? Seeing none. Carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Bellemare, that we accept as information the corporate report from the ICT manager for May 2024. Questions or comments regarding anything in that report? Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor? Anyone opposed? None. Carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, be resolved that the financial accounts that have been examined by council are hereby authorized and approved as follows. We had 58 checks in the last run for a total of $332,996.45. There were no voided checks in the range. There were no voided checks in the past range. And there were 4 electronic payments in May for a total of $183,968.74. Questions or comments regarding the financial report? All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Daly, be resolved that we accept this information engineering report for our meeting from the Director of Public Works and Operations, and that's for the months of April and May. Mike, was there anything you wanted to highlight or bring to our attention? Any questions for Mike? Councillor Bellemare.
Are things sort of on schedule? I know we've had some crazy weather, and how do you see things going compared to the schedule you had envisioned?
For the south end, I have no idea right now. I've been somewhat disconnected from the project. Our work is essentially complete. We're at 90% complete for the city, and so my involvement is very minimal now, thankfully.
Well, Mike, and I don't want to put, like, would you mind just for, Cole's Notes version, but just, we've had some people comment and stuff and, fix the streets and blah, and it's the highways project now. Could you just clarify for council just briefly that the split in the work so that we understand?
Sure. Yeah. So the city's portion of the work was really just to establish drainage and the new drainage system and sewers. The province is the owner of Highway 5 and Main Street throughout town. So they are working with the contractor on getting everything complete. I think things are progressing as well as they could be given the weather we've been dealing with. And I know there's some rough spots and they're working to get them repaired, but it's a matter of available material right now. So they're working on it. But that's about all I can offer. I don't have much else to say.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Mike? Director of Public Works? No. All. So then call for the question. All those in favor of accepting the report? Anyone opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be resolved that we accept this information. A couple of invitations. One is from Anishinaabe Housing Corporation, their annual general meeting, which is on June the 20th, and from Tutanawabing Treaty Reserve 7th Annual Powwow on July the 18th. And be resolved that all expenses related to, or any expenses related to council and senior management attending these events be borne by the city. Questions or comments regarding these invitations? All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be it resolved that we accept this information, the following invitation to a community event, and that's the Dauphin Regional Health Center Smile Zone grand opening, which is on June the 14th, later on this week. I'm going to be attending. I don't. Other council members planning to attend? I'm hoping, or no? Anyone who can make it, please do. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be resolved that we accept this information. The council reports for our regular meeting of June the 10th. Where do we start? I should wave my... Councillor Sobering looks like he is ready to start.
So eager. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not a terribly busy chunk of time. Just a few announcements. I want to make a congratulations to the Rotary Club of Dauphin for a successful Lobster Fest that was held this weekend on Friday evening, and also to the Canadian National Ukrainian Festival, who had their kickoff party on the following day. There will be a Riverside Cemetery annual general meeting tomorrow at 5 p.m. Super 8 conference room. Anyone who is interested in cemeteries, welcome to attend. We did have a Riverside Cemetery policy meeting on the 5th from 9 till about 1 p.m. So it was a mega meeting and it went really well. The only other thing is outside of I think I had written congrats to Lena Thompson. I'll say it again, graduated med school, always worth a second plug. And just that this week is Bike Week. So if anyone needs to dust off their bicycle and needs an excuse to get out, maybe make it because it's Bike Week. That ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Sobering. Deputy Mayor Loughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Sobering pretty much summed everything up, and I'm kind of the same as him. It was a pretty quiet week for me, or a few weeks, I should say. Just the regular council meeting on May 27th. Other than that, I am looking forward to a few events this coming week and beyond. We've talked about the weather a few times. I've cut my grass enough. I'd like the rain to stop if we can have anyone do that for us. But for me, that ends my report.
Thank you. Councillor Stakilo. You're next.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, yeah, it's that time of year when things are a little bit quieter. May 27th, regular council meeting. And also on May 29th, we had a Dauphin Rec Board meeting. It was good. At that Rec Board meeting, we did have an update on the Mumaway Park progress, and took a look at their plans and their updated plans. And we had the Dauphin Ag Society, some of their representatives attend the meeting as well to hear updates on that. So it was a good opportunity for some sharing of information and an opportunity to ask questions. So that was greatly appreciated. And also at the meeting, it was reported how successful the recent rodeo and bull riding, the bull riding event at DRS was, and some of the issues that they had to work around. But the staff did an excellent job there at putting on that event and the subsequent cleanup afterwards. Other than that, that ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Sticalo. Councillor Bellemare.
Okay, thank you. Several meetings for community safety and well-being on the 4th, and today we had meetings and also a meeting on the 6th for the advisory group and cemetery meetings. So yes, policy, we actually met for 5 hours. It was so much fun. It only felt like 4 hours for Councillor Sobering. Yes, and this morning we did interviews for another position that we have out there, and as Councillor Sobering mentioned, yes, the event of the evening tomorrow is the first AGM that Riverside Cemetery has had in quite some time. Some upcoming events, grad season is happening at DRCSS, so someone is probably counting down the days. Is there a parade this year for grad? Yeah, okay, all right. I was curious about that because that was really popular in the years past. So yes, so congratulations on your grad and have a wonderful day, and thank you. And also another community event this weekend, the memorial will be taking place at CN Park at 2 p.m. for people that we lost from our community in the crash at Carberry. And then afterwards, there's a time of fellowship at the Active Living Center. And so people are certainly welcome to do that. And a couple of volunteer events if you want to deliver meals to seniors at 4 o'clock. They're looking for volunteers, especially during the summer. So if you just want to try it out once or twice, give them a call and they can find you a slot, and you can see all the good stuff that they cook over there. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Councillor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor Boziak. On the 27th, I attended the last regular council meeting. On the 29th in the morning, I was present for the rec committee meeting at the Cup. And in the afternoon, I joined in on the CSWB Communities in Practice Zoom meeting. May 30th, I attended the Parkland Campus Parking Lot Barbecue. On the 4th of June, our Community Safety Wellbeing Project team met here at City Hall. On the 6th, we had our Community Safety and Wellbeing Advisory Committee meeting. And this morning, I also attended our Zoom meeting with CCFSC. Just a couple. Sorry. The Vermilion Splash Park will be up and running in mid-June. Thanks in part to the Kin Club, whose donation covered half the costs involved to repair the pump. And I would also like to mention that on the weekend, I took part in the sold-out Dauphin Kings Par 3 fundraiser tournament, and I'd like to give a shout-out to our Deputy Mayor and all the organizers that helped to make this tournament a great success. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. Councillor Daly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the regular council meeting on May 27th as well. June 3rd, I attended the Animal Services Officer meeting where we discussed applications and furthering of the program. I also attended the ACC barbecue along with Councillor Ray. On June 7th, I attended the ACC grad as well, and get to witness Mr. Mayor participating on the podium. June 10th, today, this morning or this afternoon, I attended the MMF Community Advisory Board meeting at the 11th Avenue Hall. I'll send out an email report on some of the keynotes in that meeting. And that's it for my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Daly. And last but not least, our student representative. Take it away, kid.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So on May 26th to the 1st, I got to participate in Adventure in Rotary. So Rotary sponsored me to go to Ottawa, and I got to tour Parliament and meet a whole bunch of kids from all over Canada, which was a really great experience. And then our school rugby team won our provincials 490-0, which was also very exciting. We had our school student council end of the year assembly grade wars held this Friday, and that was pretty exciting due to all the construction in the back. We had a party in the front. And then we also had our jazz party, jazz concert at the school, which was a success as well. And that's everything.
Man, it sounds like the school year doesn't really change because when June comes around, it's just field trips and parties, I guess, right? Yeah. All right, thanks very much. So call for the question, accepting all council reports. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none? Motion is carried. And moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Sobering, be resolved that council meeting be recessed at 5:35 p.m. All in favor? Opposed? None. Thank you.